So this is part 3 of Derek May's Rhythm is Rhythm Strings of Life recreation. I've got quite a lot more of the music down, and what I'll do is explain some of the things that I did after it's finished. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and as you can see, I haven't actually transcribed a lot more. When I started to sit down and explore the track properly, I started to realize just how much work Derek May put into this. The whole thing is an extravaganza, an amazing arrangement, and it's always evolving, always interesting things happening, especially when it leads into that kind of Latin piano middle 8 section. So, you know, it's an amazing classic tune, and it's been great fun to deconstruct it. So let me show you what I did that's different to the last video. So the strings piano here, I felt the last one felt a little bit lifeless. There was something about the original piano that had a real kind of old vibe to it. So I looked around my library, and what I found was the Contact 5 upright piano. This had the kind of tone that I thought really matched the original flavor. So that's a change since the last video. You can see also that I've gone through and I've transcribed all the different sections where the piano is. I've tried to keep it close. You know, for speed, sometimes it's probably not exactly the same, but I think the whole kind of range of notes and chord changes is captured in there. Now, a lot of people are going to be wondering about the string stabs. These are the most distinctive part of the tune, and the legend has it that Derek May actually recorded at a local orchestra to get this sound. So what I did was I sat down and I tried to recreate it. I found it impossible to get the same kind of vibe. So I went through my sample library and I found a sample that I guess must have been taken from the original tune. It's a Sennheiser library sample. It's a stab. And so look, I'll show you. In terms of the notes, I had to listen. So you can see here that it's not just a single keyboard stab all the time. So I was trying to recreate the vibe. And the most distinctive part, I guess, is the main string section where it all kicks in, the beats are back in. So that's over here. So the key thing is the high notes, but then these low notes here, you see these two. They make a big difference to what's going on there. Now these are partnered with the other elements, so the strings. I had before an M1 string. That's great, and it had that nice kind of harsh percussive attack, but I needed something crisper and higher. I could have used the M1 high string, which is a really good preset, but I had about 5 guys get in touch with me, so thank you to all who've been doing this, suggesting this Ensoniq string library sound. So I found it, and it was actually sent to me by one of the guys. In fact, 2 of you have actually sent me the file, so thank you very much. And this is the sound here. So I've layered this, which is the crisper, higher string sound. You can hear the levels quite low. So 2 of those combined together. So that's the original string. Match that with the stabs. So obviously you can see how much of an important contribution the piano's making there to kind of fill out and give it that emotive kind of flavour. The beats, I didn't spend a lot of time on this. One of them is a straight 909, and it was just a kick and an open hi-hat matching the kick, so 1 on every beat. The other thing that I did was to take the rim shot. This is one of the most distinctive percussive hits in the track. So it's got that nice kind of, it's almost like a clave, you know? So that's working really nicely. So there's the clave. And then the 808 I use mainly for that kind of shaker, maraca kind of texture, and a little bit of the 808 hi-hat in there. This is nowhere near as accomplished and developed as the drums that Derek May did, but it gives you a sense of that vibe. I'm just going to solo that, and let's play it. and there's no kind of conventional clap on every second beat or anything like that. There was like a big snare roll occurring at certain points. That was a 909 snare, but I didn't get time to do that. So overall, you know, I'm quite pleased with this. It's certainly got a vibe to it. I don't think it's quite as organic and human as the original. You know, this is a problem when you try and do the deconstruction things, and I have a love-hate relationship with deconstruction videos, because often I just wonder what's the point. But you know, you guys know the history of this. When I first started playing on that first video, it was like, you know, let me explore this, let me see what's happened. And actually this has been a nice exercise. Some of you might get some value out of it. I'll tell you about some of the processing on the stabs. I used a bit of reverb. One of the problems with the sample was that it wasn't very long, so as I played higher up the keyboard it was shorter, so I used reverb to extend the sound itself, and then erosion was used at the end to give it a real kind of lo-fi sample kind of texture, a real grainy kind of cutting texture coming through. The strings, I think it was just, yeah, a little bit of erosion on the Insonic one. The M1 string was just as it is. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. Piano, you can see here running through. Actually, I turned off the magnetic on there because I found that piano here, the upright piano, had the atmosphere that I wanted. So no magnetic on there. Bit of a weird EQ, but I felt that it sat better for me. I'll show you it without the EQ. So that's how it is with the EQ. And now I'm listening to that, I'm thinking, actually, I quite like some of the body there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the scale. This is what's great about Ableton's EQ. So the scale allows you to morph between the settings that you'd made and the setting without the EQ. Actually, I think that's going to be better. Let me listen again. Now, actually, I needed to do that because it was pushing the piano a little bit too much into the foreground. Now adding that, I've just kind of a touch more body. I think that's going to be good. So I think that's it really. On the actual master section here, magnetic overall, you can see I've cranked really quite high into the tape and the vintage to give it that atmosphere, and then I'm whacking into the limiter at the end, the L2. You're probably curious as to how this sounds without a magnetic, so let me show you. Let's come back. I mean, how much of a difference does that make? I just nearly pulled my earbuds out, that's funny. So you can see that actually processing can make a big difference. You know, I wanted it to sound like it was old, and coming off of reel-to-reel tape, that's the whole point in magnetic there. You can hear that really gelled the elements together before they're very crisp and defined, and that sort of thing makes it sound like a general MIDI kind of demo in a way. This is what brings the life into the track. So another good reason for tape saturation. But obviously if you want to make modern contemporary sounds, don't squash it all together using this stuff, because you know, the modern sounds are a bit more clean and a bit more kind of cutting. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to progress with this any further. For me, I've achieved what I wanted to do, just to take a look at what Derek May did musically, try and recreate some of the elements for you guys to maybe learn a little bit. And you know, this is cool. You know, I'm not going to give it out because I respect the copyright of Derek. I don't want to be giving out everything, so people can go and do their own versions. If you do want to do your own cover version, you know, of course, make sure you get the permission from the publisher, so the people, you know, the rights holders, which is you know, Derek May would have done a publishing deal. So you know, that's the whole thing. You know, respect all the people that are writing things. If you ever do any work that actually involves someone else's work, make sure you get a split with them, you get it agreed all legally, all this kind of stuff. So once again, you know, I've got utmost respect for Derek May. He's one of my all-time biggest kind of early influences from that period. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and that's it. Maybe I'll do more deconstructions, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. All right.